Arvada, Colorado. If that's something that interests you, then this video is for you. Let's get started. Hi there, Christy Lee here, and I am a local real estate agent in the state of Colorado, but more importantly, I am a native of Colorado. If you're new to my channel, all of my videos are catered to help you figure out where the best place to move is. If that's something that interests you, please click that subscribe button right there. That way you are notified every time I have a new video. Now, as much as I love making these videos for you, I love helping you more. So my contact information is right there. Please reach out to me anytime. I'd love to have a conversation with you. All right, so today I'm going to be talking to you about Arvada, Colorado. And actually, Arvada is where I grew up. So I lived my first, 20 years or so in Arvada. So I do know it very, very well. And I'm going to talk to you about the top 15 things you should know before moving to Arvada. So the number one thing I think you should know is it's a great location. It really is. It's about 30 minutes west of Denver, about 40 minutes west of DIA, so the Denver International Airport. But what I do like about where Arvada sits is that you are actually really close to Boulder. So you're about 25 minutes or so to Boulder, but you're right there on the base of the foothills for the mountains. So if you're somebody who likes to go up skiing or camping or anything like that quite a bit, Arvada is a great location because it is located right off of I-70. And that is literally like the gateway going up to the mountain resorts. So that's awesome. As well, it's really close to Cripple Creek and Blackhawk. So if you are somebody who likes to head up to the hill and gamble a little bit, Arvada is also a great location because you could get there probably about 25 minutes or so. So it is an awesome location if you like to do all that outdoor stuff, gamble. But I will say as well is that most people who live in Arvada, most of them are going to be commuters. So just to get into Boulder or get into Denver for work, it's really not going to take you much longer than 30 minutes. The second thing I think you should know about Arvada is all the outdoor recreation that it has to offer. In fact, it has 72 acres of wetlands, ponds, park areas, plenty and plenty of trails that you could ride your bike or walk on. Arvada is just a great place if you're somebody who likes to be outdoors and likes to run or walk your dog or whatever. But then, like I already mentioned, you are super close to the mountains, like really close. So if you're somebody who loves to get out there and rock climb or raft or snowboard or whatever that might be, you literally could get to any of these places really in no time. That's why a lot of people who do live in that area tend to either have ski passes or they tend to have maybe a camper or a trailer because they know they're going to utilize it quite a bit just because you're right there, right on the base of the mountain that you could just drive up and get really anywhere as far as the mountains are concerned, really within an hour or so, just depending on where you're going. So Arvada has 123,000 people in it. So it's actually the seventh most populated city in Denver, or in Colorado, I should say. So it is relatively big. So I do want that to be, something that you're aware of. But one thing that's really cool about Arvada is while there is over 100,000 people who live there, they still try to keep that small town feel. So that's going to go into another point is that they have a lot of festivals and events that really bring all of these people together that they could celebrate certain things. So they always have the fireworks every single year at Stanger. They have Easter egg hunts there as well. If you head downtown to Old Town Arvada, they have the farmers markets, the Winterfest, the fall events over there, Harvest Festival. They always have something going on. There's always some sort of race or 5K that's going on within the city as well. So while Arvada, yes, it's the seventh most populated city in Colorado, it still tends to keep that small town feel, which I think is really special because it is so large, but people still seem to think that it still feels a little bit smaller. So if that's something that's important to you, you kind of get the best of both worlds. A lot of people, however, small town feel. So that's pretty cool. So 5 and 6 are going to kind of be piggybacking off of each other. And I will say, so Arvada it's a relatively old city, okay? So it was established in the early 1900s. So that being said, there's a lot of mature landscaping. There's a lot of lush trees, a lot more than you would find really anywhere else. I mean, you're going to maybe find that in, let's say, Littleton and Lakewood, Golden. But really Arvada, just when you're driving around, you'll really notice the difference just in landscaping, the size of the trees, this and that. So that is really cool because everything is a lot more mature. Now, I will say because it is so much older, it does tend, in my opinion, to feel a little bit older as well. So, you're going to have maybe some of the older buildings, just things are set up kind of, you'll just notice, when things are now newly built compared to the things that have been around for the last 30 years or so. So different type of construction, and you just really do notice that while you're driving around Arvada. Because it is still growing, they're ever changing, they're ever evolving. And I will give Arvada some serious props with that, because when I grew up there, I mean, it was just kind of like there wasn't a whole lot to do. And now they've, over the last, I would say 15, 20 years, they've really adapted to what people are wanting and needing nowadays. So they're bringing in fresh, stores, fresh restaurants, fresh look to the overall feel of Arvada, new houses, new just developments. And it's just really, really nice to see that now they're evolving with everybody else within Colorado as a whole and making it feel, while still keeping the older parts of Arvada and the lush trees and the great landscaping and parks, they're still evolving into the newer construction and bringing more amenities to their residents. Now, if you're considering living in Arvada, I just want you to know the average house price in 2022 is going to be low to mid 600s right now. And that's going to get you a house that's probably built in the late 80s, maybe a little bit older, and maybe a 3-bedroom is really what it's going to get you. Now, if you're needing something a little bit newer, or definitely newer or larger, your cost is going to be more expensive than that. I have seen even just mid-century homes in the 700s right now. So it's really going to depend on what you're looking for, but also where in Arvada you're looking, because there are definitely different pockets that are going to cost more than other areas within Arvada. Arvada is a very, very large, spread out city. And that's what you need to talk to a local expert about, on where is the most ideal place that's going to fit you and your family on where to live. But just overall, it's going to be about $625, $650 is that average price point. Now, with all of the growth that I've already mentioned, brings me to another topic that I do want to talk to you about. And what I feel the biggest complaint I hear from people who either live in Arvada or who used to live in Arvada, like friends of mine who used to live in Arvada, who moved out of Arvada, the biggest complaint is traffic. There is a lot of traffic now because a lot of people are moving there. It is a very popular place to live. You're on the west side of I-25. You're super close to the mountains and Boulder. I mean, people want to live here, which just means that there's more traffic. And the infrastructure within Arvada, when it was originally established, just cannot handle the amount of people that are there now. So I do want to make sure you are aware that there is a lot more traffic than there ever was before. And even when I was growing up there, a lot more traffic. But to another point, I don't even know what number I'm on right now, but another point is that like 5 years ago, the light rail system has actually finally been brought out to Arvada, which is awesome. So if you're somebody who maybe works in Denver, or you want to just take the light rail out to the airport because you don't want to have to worry about driving, the light rail now there's a stop right there in downtown or Old Town Arvada, and that'll just take you to Denver. That'll take you to DIA. So that's actually going to help alleviate a lot of the traffic, or some of the traffic. But, they are trying for sure. They absolutely are trying. Just kind of note that, it is what it is. You do have traffic. Oh, and there's trains. I mean, obviously there's trains everywhere, but the trains still go through like the street. So that obviously backs up traffic too, because there's a lot of times where you're just sitting there waiting on a train that's going super, super slow. So these are just like little things, but definitely worth noting. So the ninth thing that I think you should know about Arvada is that they're really into their arts. So they actually have the Arvada Center of Performing Arts. It's off of Wadsworth in maybe 52nd-ish. And it's really, really cool. So they have award-winning actors who come in. It actually does take place year-round. So, they have plays and musicals, and there's like a museum and stuff like that, all within this area, this great building, this performing arts building. But then in the summertime, they have a lot of stuff that happens on the outside. So you have, concerts in the park and performances in the park, like plays and musicals and stuff like that happen outside as well. And then on the outside of it as well, there's a bunch of like sculptures and things that you can walk around and see that local artists have done. So Arvada is really into their arts. They really like, helping kids learn performing arts. So a lot of them will have classes. You go there and take classes for performing arts and things like that. So it's just a really cool aspect that Arvada likes to give their residents. Just a nice little perk. So I've mentioned it a couple times, but Arvada does have an old town area, and it's several blocks long. It's actually cut off, so traffic cannot actually drive through it anymore. So they've actually situated it to where it's only pedestrians, which is really, really cool. The reason why I want to mention this is there's two reasons. So it's awesome. That's where a lot of the events and all of the community just kind of goes there. But to piggyback on that is that the restaurants, the breweries, the boutiques, they're all amazing. And I love going over there with my son and my husband because there's always so much to do. One of our favorite breweries is the Denver Beer Company. Definitely head over there if you're ever in the area. The Graham Cracker Porter is amazing. So head over there and it's fantastic. But they have other restaurants there too. The Schoolhouse is one of my personal favorites. There's boutiques that, it's Christmas time right now, going over there and just, shopping local. Really cute little items. It's just a really cute area. Just outside of it is Yak and Yeti. So if you like Indian food, Yak and Yeti is really, really well known in Arvada. Have great food, great beer is over there. It's great. And then also, that's also where the light rail drops off or picks up is in Old Town Arvada. And then you have just other areas. The old flour mill is right there too. It's very historic. So when you're down there, you're walking through history almost as well. There's like a little museum that'll explain to you some things about Arvada. So there's just a lot of things that people go to Arvada for, and it's super close. I mean, even if you live in Denver, you could get to Arvada. I mean, I believe it's only like 7 miles away. So it's super close, especially if you're riding the light rail. You don't even have to drive. But you could just, head over there for a couple hours and just experience it. It's really cool. It never used to be cool. I promise you, it never used to be cool when I grew up. But now they've made it awesome, and people are actively wanting to live over there or at least visit. And so it just makes, Arvada just a great place to be. And then another thing I do want to mention is the final thing. I don't even know what number I'm at, but hopefully it's 15. But do know that if you do live in Arvada, you will tend to get probably more snow than some of the other areas within Colorado or within the Denver metro area. On average, they get about 62 inches of snow a year. So, I mean, is that crazy? No, because that's the whole snow, winter season. But you do tend to get a little bit more than other areas, and that's just mainly because you're on the western slope. So you're closer to the mountains, and that just is what it is. So kind of note that we do have the 300 days of sunshine still, and Arvada is no different than that. So even if it does snow, it's not going to be super cold, or the sun will melt it anyway. So it's not like you're going to be sitting there dreary and cold and miserable for months on end. That's not the case whatsoever in Colorado in general. But I do want to make sure that you are aware that if you're not a snow person and you don't want to deal with it whatsoever, Arvada may not be the place to be, because they do tend to get a little bit more than other places. All right, so that was my hopefully 15 things about Arvada that I think that you should know. If you have any questions, please reach out to me anytime. I am here to help you in any way. Remember to click that subscribe button right there. That way you are notified every time I have a new video. And then to the next video, take care.